and I was an instructor and director for ACT from 2004 to 2018. And I had the good fortune of directing two productions, two ACT productions a year. When I first came around to Little Theater, I think ACT, it wasn't called ACT, but there was a program where kids would be called together, like these talented kids from the area would be called together, and they rehearse musical numbers. They worked with different teachers, so they came together to rehearse and then perform something. And but I don't think there was a training program in place.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then I know that you and Eric Stein and Shannon kind of got together and sort of started that.
Yeah. We all had this dream of starting like a performing arts program.
Yeah.
And so we proposed it to Wendy Edson, who was the artistic director then. Okay. And and she loved it.
So you sort of slipped into directing at that point. Is that
right.
correct? Okay. Okay. Right. What drew you to directing? Was there something about it that you really found enthralling?
Well, it just sort of happened from the choreography. It sort of moved into that. I always approached dance as more of an actress than a technician.
Oh.
Like I was always like drawn to the story and what the character was going through and the emotional life and all of that stuff. So I think I was really I dug all that stuff a lot more than making up dance steps.
That's something that I always really enjoy about the way that you approach shows and working with young students is getting them into understanding the moment that the character's in and how they would react to the people around them and like really giving them the space and the opportunity to discover that for themselves.
It's so exciting when they come in for an audition and they've done all the beats and they've done all the motivation, all this stuff themselves. That's like we love that, right, Kerry?
Love it. I wish students could see us sometimes in the audition room, like between auditions, where we're just like, yeah.
I wish they could too.
So if we backtrack a little bit, can you tell me about your training as a performer? I know you started in dance, but can you tell me a little bit about how you got interested in the world of the arts to begin with, and what your life as a professional artist was like?
Well, I don't know where it came from, but when I was 4, I just wanted to take ballet classes. I don't know if I saw stuff on television or what exactly. No one in my family was of that ilk. And so the woman who, the school that I studied with in Oklahoma, when I was 5, she didn't take people until they were 5. Mm-hmm. And I remember walking into the studio my first day and thinking, I can get back to work. I mean, it was almost like, like reincarnation, I swear, because I just felt so home there, And for the next 13 years, that was it. That's all I wanted to do. I auditioned for Joffrey in Los Angeles, and around after I got out of high school, and got a scholarship for a summer. And that was a big deal for me because I was older than most of the kids.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that took me to New York for the first time, and then I suffered a foot injury, and it was a break, and I just couldn't continue my classes. So I came back home really disillusioned. The summer to kill until the fall semester started. So I was getting really antsy, and I thought, well, I'm gonna going to go take a jazz class at the local community college. And I got hooked. I got hooked again on a new form. Mm-hmm. And I trained all summer, and then on a whim, I went for an audition for a show, and I got cast. And I thought college can wait. You know? Yes. Only grad while you're young. So I took it, and then I was suddenly on the path to musical theater. I did, and then I did all that. I had this really varied career. I mean,
yeah. Tell me about that.
Oh, well, I really got my footing when I auditioned for Sacramento Music Circus that summer, and it's musical theater heaven. I mean, you're doing one show during the day or at night, and then you're rehearsing another show during the day, and you learn a show in 4 days before you're in tech. So you learn to work really fast. You know, you really hone your skills, taking direction and learning material, and and they were full musicals, so we're learning all this choreography. It was really good training.
Wow.
And really fun, because that's all we did, day and night. And we did 7 or 8 shows a summer. So, and I did several seasons with them. So, and they gave me my equity card. So that was, I'm so grateful to them for that. And then did magic shows and industrials and seasons at Disneyland, and I had the time of my life. I've told you about this with Debbie Reynolds and the Unsinkable Molly Brown. That was my first national tour. And then I moved to Seattle, danced with the Seattle Opera. And
you toured with Evita, right, as well?
Yeah, that was in Seattle. We did Evita at the Fifth Avenue Theater. That's another show Alan was in before we got together. And we worked with Larry Fuller, who was the original Evita choreographer. Then that following spring, he invited the whole Seattle cast to go on tour to Europe. So I finally got to dance in Europe, which was a big dream. And and made friends for life. I mean, just my bestest friends, And
oh, that's
yeah. And then I was kind of winding down in the performing and started teaching. Started that whole second career. But I've been so grateful for that variety, because it just gave me a lot of what I needed to move on and teach, things to pass on. It's when young people come to me with really hard things that happen to them, where they just feel like this time everything's falling apart and they don't know what they're going to do. It's like the gift that can come out of that is, you can't see it now, but the way it can change your life. I'm so grateful for that foot injury. I can't even tell you. Wow. Because it's not only a really fun career, but I made the best friends. I made friends that are for life, and it just changed my whole life in a really positive way.
If you don't mind, I'd love to sort of shift back to ACT for a moment. And
absolutely.
I want to ask you about if you have a favorite ACT show that you directed in your mind that stands out as particularly special to you.
I tried to figure that out, and I couldn't. It's like for different reasons. So many of them were really special. I loved Pirates of Penzance just because it was such a frolic, it was so fun, and we just were all playing all the time. That was a joy. And Little Women for the material, Little Women of Orchard House, there was so much history, and we just all loved that story so much, and it gave great parts to a lot of our talented female students. Midsummer Night's Dream was such a treat because we had such a huge span of ages. I think our youngest was 4.
That's right.
For the Louis fairies.
Do you have any memories that stand out to you as like a, oh my gosh, I can't believe that happened, or how did we get through that show?
One was when Connor Allen fell off a cliff but before a performance of Secret Garden. And you came to our rescue. We needed someone to fill for him, so you took the script on stage, and you were perfect. I mean, I
can't believe that happened.
It was the perfect choice. It was like, of all things, the man fell off a cliff. You know?
I know. He was in the hospital. Poor Connor.
Oh, it was so scary.
By all accounts, asking the paramedics, like, "Do you think I can perform tonight?"
So my favorite memories were in Pinocchio, when it was our first production of Pinocchio with Mike White, and in the final scene when Pinocchio says, "I'm a real boy," and we hadn't done anything, like nothing had changed or anything, but all he had to say and believe was, "I'm a real boy." And this little guy in the front row of the audience said, "Oh my!" And it was like, he totally believed. He was like so moved, that he saw this transformation. Oh, it was so cute. There was the evening that Ethan Scott, playing Aslan in Narnia, went to run off over this rock down right, and he slipped. It slipped, and he said that Narnia is a crazy place. That was good.
You mentioned that you always love learning from students when you're working with them. What is it that you like about working with young actors?
Well, first of all, I have to thank them, because it took me a long time, but I needed to learn to let go and trust them a little bit more, finding stuff. I mean, they need guidance, but I feel like the further I got with directing them, the more I was able to let go. When I started with the younger ones, I feel like I was a little heavier handed. With, it's okay to do this, but let's not do that.
Right.
No, by the time I left, I was saying, I don't know if this will work, but would you try this, and let's see if we find anything? And they were always willing. They're so hungry. They're always willing. They're fearless, most of them. And we found some great things that way, or we go back to what we were originally.
Right.
No, but it was just, it was more give and take. It just felt more natural, more organic.
Well, I feel so lucky to have been there with you for so many shows and watched you work with those students, because I have learned from watching you that same quality of giving them some space to figure things out and not needing to control everything that's happening on stage or in rehearsal. And because I tend to want to control things and to be able to get their input as a legitimate form of collaboration is really special. And I feel like I still can be practicing that every time I'm in the rehearsal room, but I really got that sense of that from you, and I've always found that really special.
Oh, well, thank you. I'm glad you got it earlier than I.
Well, like I said, I'm still practicing. I'm most of all grateful for the friendship that we've developed. You're a kindred spirit, and I love you so much. Yeah.
I'm so glad you're at the helm, and oh my goodness, I'm just saying prayers for this to find its way,
Thanks. Yeah, I know. I miss being there. I miss students, and I know they miss it too. Yeah.
And hang in. We just have to stay positive and stay plan it.
And this is a foot injury. Something great will come out of it.
big foot too.
Yeah, that's a big foot. All right, my friend. Well, I hope you have a lovely afternoon.
You too.
Yeah.
And I'll talk to you soon.
Sounds good, Sheila.
I love you.
Bye. Love you too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.